female has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma Brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. And we are back from a weekend that had some decent weather. I would say some nice weather. I'm happy to be back in the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. What up, Truth Nation? I hope your Monday is off to a phenomenal start. And always remember, you can watch and stream us live, Truth to Power, by going to YouTube and going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe as well so you can watch and stream Truth to Power on YouTube. Also, 833-212-1017. That is the talk and text line. If you want to chime in on any of the conversation today, you just you can call in at 833-212-1017. Shout out to Rhea back on the ones and the twos.
Hello.
And shout out to you, Truth Nation, as well. Now, today, usually I start off with a weekend recap, but I wanted to start off a little bit different with Off the Top because I did some reflection this weekend. I want to share with y'all some of my reflection.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
All right, Truth Nation, so I do got to get some stuff off my chest today. And first I'm going to start off by saying that to some surprises, I don't really listen back to my shows all the time. I do small snippets, and so I hear, segments of my show. But rarely do I sit for an hour for Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Or do I go back and listen to the 3-hour show I do on ESPN, Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, from 2 to 5. I don't really go back and listen to my full show. I just do little snippets and utilize that to help me get better at my delivery and help me get better at, providing information and critique myself. See, I'm a guy really focused on moving forward more so than looking back. But last Friday, I went to Madison. Y'all know I was in Madison doing a show live from the American Family Insurance Championship. My brother's calling me while I'm on air, which is crazy to me because he listens to my show. So, but I was driving back from Madison, and my girl didn't get to listen to the show because I got to get the hookup sometimes. So she went to the, AmFam Championship to see the golf event, getting to experience that. And so she wanted to listen back to the show. So I actually had a chance to listen back to my full show, not just the snippets or anything like that, but I actually got to listen back to Truth to Power, the full show. And I just want to first share my appreciation and my gratitude for just the overall community in Truth Nation. Because, listen, the truth, in the words of our former general manager, Cherie Harris, it is our baby. It really is our baby. And when I think about now, because we're getting to about 5 years to around the day that I had a meeting with our founder and CEO, Craig Karmazin, who told me about this idea. It was June of 2020. It was around, I think it was it might have been right around this time, maybe a little bit later. But about 5 years ago, I remember I went to Craig's house and he had a conversation about creating something special, right? About doing something special and creating an opportunity, a platform to uplift Black voices in Milwaukee. And here we are 5 years later, trying our best to become a mainstay in the community and make a significant impact in our community with the different events we do, the conversations that we have as well. So I just want to say thank you to Truth Nation, because I can't always put into words what having this platform means to me, but more importantly, what it means to the community to be able to have something like this. But when listening back, I got a chance to hear some of the calls that I had from Friday's show. And Friday's show talked about Donald Trump potentially being on the Epstein list, and that was something that his good friend or former good friend, I don't know what they are, Elon Musk said. He said, hey, he's on the Epstein list. And we had a conversation talking about that, and I got a chance to listen back to some of the calls that we had. And it was interesting because when I listened back to some of the calls, it's just a reminder that I always try my best to push back whenever I have people with sexist speech or hateful speech, but I can't always do that in a moment because, I want people to be able to say what they need to say, and I'm not sitting here trying to go back and forth with people all the time. But when I listened back and I heard some of the revealing things about the psyche of some people that call in, or some people who are part of, just in general, it was worrisome because the topic of pedophilia used to be one where everyone could agree that pedophilia was sick, right? Like that was something where we that type of behavior would be shunned at all levels. Like it didn't matter where community you came from. It didn't matter your background, but everybody looked at pedophilia or somebody being attached to pedophilia as a sick thing. I've talked about the Catholic Church multiple times about the fact that they allow for these Catholic priests to do this, right? Children were always off limits. Like even sometimes the people who go to jail, they end up getting beat up in jail for the pedophilia behavior. People found out that they were pedophiles. So it was disappointing to me on Friday when I went back to listen, and there were people who called into my show and others who shared the same sentiments that believe that there are levels to pedophilia and levels to sexual assault. And to me, that's completely crazy. I literally had someone call into my show and compare Epstein bringing a 14-year-old girl to an island and being raped and compared it to a naked bike race. Like that's where we're at. Now, I disagree with the naked bike race, but I'd rather have a naked bike race than have a 14-year-old girl going to an island to be repeatedly raped. But it just let me into the psyche that some people have because of politics, because of who they voted for. And it's worrisome to me that when we should be talking about protecting people and protecting women, but we have limits to protecting women, we have limits to protecting children. Again, the fact that Donald Trump, and this ain't really about Trump, but this is about the thought people have. The fact that we had a conversation talking about Trump and him potentially having sex with minors, and the fact that he was found liable of sexually assaulting a woman in Jeannie Carroll, and people still voted for him. My mind is still to this point is blown. But it just is a reminder of how far this country has fallen and how divided this country truly is when we can't come to an agreement that this could be potentially damning for somebody to be on a list or be associated with somebody who violated and took advantage of and took the innocence away from children, 14-year-old girls being drugged and forced to have sex with grown men and women. And so for me, when I look at this and we have these conversations, and the first thing people want to do is want to say, oh, Bill Clinton, he had an illegitimate son, and oh, Joe Biden or Hunter Biden, or we don't like Kamala, or I vote for Trump again. Like that, to me, that was disappointing, because hearing it in person is one thing, Truth Nation. But when you listen back and you hear some of the people that call in to different shows, and specifically on Friday call in on my show, and talking about the fact that regardless of the fact that Donald Trump is accused of hanging out with a pedophile and potentially having sex with underage people, they still did not believe that that was enough not to vote for him. And it just reminded me that this country is just torn into pieces. So I really determined political bias and loyalty to political parties really tearing this country apart. And I watch a lot of news and I listen to a lot of radio, and I really just come to the conclusion that many people choose party over people. They do. And I want to make a promise to you all, because for me, listening back to the show and hearing people justify and openly say they would vote for Donald Trump regardless of if he's accused of sexual assault or connected to Jeffrey Epstein, or potentially him being connected to sexually assaulting girls underage, but people still say that would be, that's not crossing the line for them. To me, what I'm always going to do is I'm always going to promise to y'all that the story of the day, regardless of where it aligns with, the story of the day will be the thing that I talk about. It doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, MPS. I've sat up here and I've talked about Keith Posley. When I talk about Keith Posley, do understand that when I say Keith Posley, I'm for sure not best friends with Keith Posley. But when I was growing up as a kid, Keith Posley gave me money when I graduated from high school and college. It was encouraging to me. I look at, when I see Keith Posley, I understand Keith Posley played a role in my life or my family, and that he was somebody that I can pick up the phone, and if I wanted to have a conversation about something, I felt comfortable enough to do that. I had access. So it's not fun for me to bash and talk about the things that happen, but that's what you have to do. And so for me, I want to just let y'all know that regardless of the conversation and regardless of my beliefs or what I voted for, it's bigger than that. And last week we had a president accused of having sexual ties to sexual predator and pedophile. And unfortunately, when you watch the news and maybe even listen to many places, you didn't get updates on that simply because it didn't fit the political narrative of certain stations. And so this is why, for me, when you look at Fox News and MSNBC, I can't stand it. I can't stand it because all it does is divide us even more. The goal of these news stations isn't to provide y'all with information, it's to provide y'all with divisiveness. Again, I've said it before and I will continue to say it. I'm going to always be here to inform Truth Nation and take time out of your day. Because for those who take time out of your day to listen to me, I promise you I'm going to provide education and information. It's going to be from my perspective, but we're going to have these conversations because they're so important. So I'm going to just tell y'all this right now. There is not one topic I shy away from. Not one. Y'all think talking about traditional households was something that was going to be okay in my household? I mean, she was upset. But it was a great conversation to have. And for me, bringing something to you all is the most important thing. So whether it's Sade Robinson, whether it's MPS, whether it's Joe Biden and the Democratic Party lying to us about the decline of Joe Biden, whether it's Donald Trump potentially being a sexual assaulter or hanging out with pedophiles, there's nothing off limits, and I don't give a damn what my political views are. Everybody can get it. And I always promise to y'all that I'm going to share my perspective and always be accurate with it as well. But I just felt like that had to be said because of the fact that with the callers that called in last week, I realized that we are in trouble in America. And the folks that called in and shared their perspective that said that they would still support or try to justify what if Donald Trump was on the Epstein list, they have every right to do that, but do know I'm judging them. And it just allowed for me to understand that we are a country that is extremely divided when we cannot agree on pedophilia being something that is a no-no and something that we cannot allow. That is a problem when we look at a situation in pedophilia and we cannot condemn it. And so I just felt like today I need to come and reaffirm the fact that I am always going to hit these heavy topics, and also that we got to find a way to come together, because right now we are living in a terrible political time where politics are over people. Our kids are at risk. 833-212-1017. That is off the top today. Me just sharing some thoughts off the top of my mind after actually listening back to my show and listening to callers and reflecting on that over the weekend. But 833-212-1017. Make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube. And when we come back on the other side, of course, we got to do the weekend recap where we got to talk about the biggest stories of the day. We'll give an update on MPS. We'll talk about the people that may be losing their Medicaid. And then on top of that as well, we got to have a conversation about red light cameras potentially coming to Milwaukee. Keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our third annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new, stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Walls, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. On the other side, we had a conversation just talking about, again, the reflection that I had listening back to the show and listening to some of the callers that called into the show and how people were really justifying and saying they would still vote for Donald Trump regardless of if he was found to be on the Epstein list or if he was found to have had anything to do with it. Now, again, it's not confirmed and he hasn't really pushed back on it. But, regardless, I just felt like we got to draw a line at some point, right? Our political views cannot trump protecting kids. And I used a story on Friday about how Brett Blomey was accused of and found guilty of having images of children on his computer. Brett Blomey was a federal judge, I believe, or circuit court judge or something like that. And I voted for Brett Blomey, and I was disgusted by the fact that I voted for an individual like that. And I was even more disgusted by the Democratic Party of, not really calling it out. But see, unlike a lot of other people who believe in politics over people, I'm going to call that mess out. So just having that conversation about how some people are okay with pedophilia. But with that being said, it's time for the weekend recap and let y'all know everything that you may have missed over the weekend.
Truth Nation, we know you have a busy life and the weekend went by too fast. If you missed any of the headline stories, no worries. We got you covered on the top stories you may have missed. Tap in for the weekend recap on Truth to Power. Kyle, tell Truth Nation the biggest headlines they need to know.
Well, Truth Nation, the biggest headlines you need to know from the weekend. The first one is MPS having millions of dollars continue to be withheld. MPS is almost a month late. They had their paperwork was due on May 16th. It is now June 9th. And they are almost a month late in turning in their paperwork and are estimated to lose up to $25 million in funding. 17.4 of that million dollars would go towards special education funding, which I talked about before. About 23% of the students in MPS, about 15,000 of those students, actually utilize special education services. Last year, they lost $16.6 million. This year, they could potentially lose $17.4 million in special education funding if they do not get that in. And in addition to that, there's $8 million in an achievement gap reduction aid that is going to be withheld from them if they do not get their paperwork in time. And DPI, I believe, which is the Department of Public Instruction here in Wisconsin, has been extremely patient with MPS as they continue to be behind. I know Brenda Cassellius came in with Dr. Ken last Monday, I believe, for an interview. She said they were working on it. A week later, they're still working on it. But with that, I feel like DPI has been very, very patient with them, and they've also stated that withholding the funding is a last resort, and it comes after countless hours spent supporting MPS. We've seen real progress in recent months under the leadership of Dr. Brenda Cassellius, and we recognize and appreciate the hard work that has gone into those efforts. Meeting key deadlines is critical to ensure that DPI can accurately and effectively calculate in general aid estimates for the school district across Wisconsin. So just providing an update that MPS still has not gotten that in. And again, I'm going to give MPS a year. I'm going to give Brenda a year. So she's going to get all next school year before I really jump down her throat on if we're continuing to mess up here at MPS. But there was a shakeup at central office, which I think was a necessary shakeup, and we'll see how things go. 833-212-1017. That's the update on MPS. The next thing is this. 63,000 people in Wisconsin will lose their health insurance under the new big, beautiful bill Donald Trump and the Republicans are trying to push through Congress. It made it through the House, and now it's in the Senate. And based off estimates from the Wisconsin Department of Health, 63,000 Wisconsinites are at risk for potentially losing some type of funding. And for me, what bothers me about this is that this would mean that many Wisconsinites will be left with a significant gap in their health care coverage, right? So either some people wouldn't have coverage or some people would have a gap in coverage. And you're talking about people who are already on these support programs who already need to support. And in the times that we're living in now, where we've been penny pinching since the pandemic came and we had to deal with inflation, the rising cost of things around us, now you're telling people that healthcare is something that you may not be able to have access to. And when I think about those who may be losing these cuts, these are people who have disabilities, people who are elderly, people who, can't really function, or people who need a hand out for a hand up, right? And what bothers me about the healthcare system, the way some of y'all think, is we have to stop thinking that healthcare is a privilege. We have to stop thinking that we don't deserve access to healthcare. We have to stop thinking that way because healthcare is not a privilege. Healthcare is absolutely a right here in America. Everybody should have access to some type of affordable healthcare. That's why Obamacare, Affordable Health Care Act was so important because it just provided a pathway for everybody to have some type of insurance. There are so many people that have illnesses that are curable but didn't have access to be able to get to health care. There are people who need access to health care, but because of the fact that they didn't have insurance, they died. And so us continuing to think that health care is a privilege and not a right is crazy. And we are living in a country where that is, again, so divided in many different ways. We have the haves who are currently bullying the have-nots. You have U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, who is a millionaire, who suggested that we should do away with providing taxes like healthcare, providing tax money towards healthcare altogether. He said we should do away with anything that has to do with tax money going towards helping people provide healthcare. So he would cut $740 million from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services if he had what he wanted. And that's a terrible idea. But that is the rich telling other people that you don't need to have this. Ron Johnson might think he worked hard to get where he was, but Ron Johnson also had to run a shorter race to get to where he was. So it's just interesting when people with privilege try to chastise those who are working to get by. The next story I had is to talk quickly before we get to Coco Golf. I want to talk about Jair Alexander. If you're a Packers fan, y'all hear this music in the background. This is ESPN Packers music. If you're a Packers fan, just want to let y'all know Jair Alexander, who is a cornerback for the Green Bay Packers, is going to get released today. Unfortunately, he's going to get released, and I'm very upset about it. But I wanted to know, just in case for any of you Packers fans or sports fans, I wanted to provide that information to you about how Jair Alexander, a cornerback for the Packers, is expected to get released. And lastly, before I take some calls here, shout out to the Black Girl Magic that was on display on Saturday as young up-and-coming tennis sensation Coco Gauff won her second major title, came from being one set down in the French Open finals to go ahead and beat the number one seed Aryna Sabalenka to win her first French Open. The young lady is only she's 21 years old, and she burst onto the stage as a young teenager. And so now at 21 years old, she's the first American to win the French Open since another black woman. Serena Williams won it in 2015. And then on top of that, this is her second major title that she has won. She's been in a major final each of the last 3 years. And so she is an up-and-coming, another queen coming in Coco Gauff. And if you don't know her name, you are going to continue to get to know her name. But Rhea, you had something to say about Coco?
Oh, it was a wonderful match. I loved it. And her name is Aryna Sabalenka.
Aryna Sabalenka.
Yep.
So that is the woman that blamed the wind for losing to Coco Gauff. But
Crash out, high key.
Shout out to Coco Gauff. But 833-212-1017. Y'all can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Or if you want to chime in on a conversation, you can always call in and text in at 833-212-1017. I don't know what these people want because our call screen is broken, but Al is always good for entertaining. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Well, what I was going to tell you is a lot of people feel that there's more power in flour, but all flour is not good for baking. See, some flour is tainted. Some flour has bugs in it. What's going on right now, they're looking at that white orange skin. It has absolutely nothing to do about morals because he has any. So remember, these people who vote for him and say they will vote for him is because they feel it's power in flour. But try to use some old flour and see how that bakery turns out.
Al, see,
it's going to be flat.
My thing is I don't even know. Like I can't get into the mind, but I know people who are Republicans and black Republicans, and a lot of it's not, to me, the ones that I know, it's not about being associated with white people. For some of them, not all. No, yes, but some of it is about like overall policies, and some is about the lack thereof that we get. And beliefs.
Well, when you look at,
I know abortion's a big one.
Well, think about this. When you look at all their beliefs and they say they're good old Christian values, everything they represent in the Bible is 100% totally opposite. So they're showing their true Christianity. Because if you want to know a real Christian, the only thing you got to do is disagree with them and see all the hate come out. You remember what we talked about, love thy neighbor, but them the same ones who would sit up there and pay for their heaven, but they will not like you for the color of your skin. And they talk about their own Christian values, but they don't talk about King Solomon, who had 700 wives, 300 ungodly women, and a bunch of bastard babies. They didn't talk about King David, who killed his mama, and his auntie helped set him up, and he probably was inbreeding with her. But those are the good Christian moral values. They're all hypocrites. If it's white, it's right. Now ask them same Christians and same moral beliefs. Would they say that if they were black? They'll say, hell no, get back, Negro. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too, Al. I appreciate that. You know, everybody gets to share their perspective, and this is what this platform is for. 833-212-1017. Winky Blue, you're on award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts here on today's conversation?
Hey, good afternoon to you, Kyle.
Good afternoon.
Blah, 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 blah. Hey, listen, check this out. Now, the other day you were talking about the Epstein people, and you socked everybody in the eye. You said if you were a Trump supporter, you were a pedophile, and go back and listen to the tape.
I say you support pedophilia.
This up. Right. Well, but hold on. Everybody that was on the Epstein Island was not a child, man. It was all kind of entertainment going on out there. Everybody, I don't even know what the percentage of children was out there, but most of that stuff out there, man, was not just they got it painted like this was an island where they stole all the kids from Africa and these other places and brought them to these islands. Wasn't nothing on there but babies. Man, this place was it was full of I guess any kind of entertainment or sexually entertainment that you wanted. So everybody on there wasn't chasing babies. But anyway, I just wanted to say one thing, man, that when you look at this thing over in California, and I didn't say you're covering that yet.
We're covering that tomorrow. So
I just hold off on it.
Yeah, we'll cover.
Just hold off on it.
We'll cover it. Can I just say one quick thing to you, Winky? So
sure,
the Epstein, you are absolutely right. It was just like the Diddy parties. The Diddy parties weren't just about the
a bunch of boys in there doing the boys. Man, you can get what you wanted.
It wasn't just about that. But again, there are certain things that if you see something, you got to say, whoa, that don't look right. And so at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Epstein was flying in underage girls. And so he was flying, and so there again. I don't know what Donald Trump was doing. I just know he may be on that list.
Right, but
what I'm saying is this: is that if y'all ever hear Kyle Wallace ever say that I know somebody likes them young and they still my friends, and it comes out that they like them as young as 14, then y'all should judge the hell out of me too. That's all I'm saying.
If you fooling around with a baby like that, man, you know that's the case. I mean, 16 years old is the case, but in some states, 16 years old is legal. Girls can get married at 16. They haven't. You go down to Georgia, Atlanta. Look, 16 years old, they out there on the they selling. Man, they out there doing some things at 16, so, man. And it's that state
if you
is
went
legal.
Down, if you went down to Georgia, would you sleep with a 16-year-old since it's legal?
Well, I'm not finna sleep with none of them, man. I believe in Pearce first, and the other stuff last, man. I'm not into that. See, when you've been around that female anatomy doesn't move me in that way, man. That doesn't move me. But some people desire that.
All right.
Some people desire that, man. Some people want that. A grown man can't get in some grown women. What you look like fooling around with a baby?
I just say this, is that it's disgusting. That's all I say. That is all I say. I mean, I don't know why we even want to. I don't even know why we want to even justify it. I don't understand that. What do we get from that? What do we get from making excuses for people who want to sleep with 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds? It's like there's no win. There's no win at all. You're taking advantage of a young person. It's sexual assault. 833-212-1017. Miss Lisa, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts here on the conversation?
Okay, to Winky Blue, blah, 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 blah. Winky Blue, let me tell you something. I was in that lifestyle. I was one of a person that had a choice and that was not involved in that lifestyle. I don't care what you. Let me tell you something. I don't care what you people. Anything you say negative about Prince. Prince was pretty much boring. After he came off that stage, Prince had a basic lifestyle. He hung around people that he was close to. We went on trips to, private homes where it was quiet and secluded. But Prince was pretty boring, But that lifestyle, like I told him, look, I don't want to. He didn't pressure me to get into it, and he knew that I had this type of temperature, patience that I was unalive a person. Prince didn't want to see me go to jail. Yeah, because that look to Wiki Blue. Look, that entertainment business is evil. You don't know. Like I asked Prince, I said, Prince, what about 50 Cent when he was going through his problems? He said, let me tell you something, no matter how much money you got, you black. That summed it up.
I think that's...
it doesn't matter. Yeah, Winky Blue, and, whatever they were doing, that's them. I don't care about Epstein. I don't. I know about their business. Mm-hmm. I know about what they do. Okay, so yes, you could get anything you want. You right. If you want a 3-year-old baby, you'll get a 3-year-old baby.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me. What's crazy to me is that there is because between you and what Dame Elsie said, because Dame knew some people who, had some association with Diddy once in their life, and hearing these stories and what the reality is of what these other people have access to and what power and money can do to people, it's crazy. Like again, It's crazy that there's human beings on this earth that would legitimately allow for the power to go to their head, that they would be okay with being with, like you said, with children. So
right, but people don't. They, if you want to get in the business and you're thirsty, you'll do anything. Like I'm listening to these women, and I'm like, it's really sad. They'll promise them. Diddy will promise you, I'll get you that, and then when you get into Denny's hands, he's going to treat you the way he want to treat you. Mm-hmm. You're not going anywhere. So stop selling yourself to someone to give you promises. You make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Don't be going to nobody's hotel room. And let me tell you something, young ladies. Always carry someone with you.
Okay.
Always do that.
Miss Lisa?
And never go to places. Yeah. Okay, but that's not what I wanted to talk about.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, you have a good day.
What did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about, what you were talking about earlier about, having insurance as a privilege. You're right. Nowadays, my niece she got to look on Marketplace, and there's so much, I had to tell her about insurance. Let me tell you something, guys. State insurance is better than employer insurance. Because, see, with the state insurance, you're covered with everything. Mm-hmm. Some things you may not be, but you're covered. When you have an employer insurance, they have the right to put in the policy that they want for you to have that you're buying into. You're going to have your basic procedures that you have every year, your annual exams and things of that sort. But say if you needed this type of surgery, say if you want to go for the gastric bypass, that's not covered in your medical policy. If you go to the state, if you need it, they'll approve it. If you 5 or 6 months, they will approve it. So be careful. Mm-hmm. State insurance is way better. Nope. Government insurance is way better than employer insurance.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate your insight on that. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. I see y'all texts. I see y'all calls. Tyrone, Marlon, I'm going to get to on the other side. It looks like I'll probably touch on and tease the red light camera thing because we're going to run out of time. But again, I appreciate y'all calling in and texting in and sharing y'all perspective. You can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I see y'all having a conversation about protecting children, which I think is something that is so important. But we will take your calls. We'll look at your texts on the other side. This is Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey there. Power, did you hear? There are still spots open for Girl Scout Summer Camp 2025.
Whether you're into water activities, arts and crafts, sports and games, exploring nature, or even horseback riding, there's a camp just for you.
Choose from GSY's day camps, overnight camps, community day camps, or Camp Hero.
Bring a friend and get ready for a summer full of adventure, friendship, and leadership.
Register today and let's make this the best summer ever, Girl Scout style.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. With the Green Bay Packers set to begin mandatory minicamp on Tuesday, they are releasing star cornerback Jair Alexander. That is according to multiple reports after the team had explored a possible trade this offseason and a failed restructured contract negotiation. Over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers fell to the Padres 1-0 on Sunday afternoon. They lost the game and the series, falling 2 out of 3 to the Padres. They'll open a series this evening against the Atlanta Braves. First pitch is set for this evening at 6:40. And lastly, over to the NBA, where the Oklahoma City Thunder have evened up the NBA Finals at 1 game apiece with a 123-107 win over the Indiana Pacers. Game 3 is scheduled for Wednesday. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Hey, said fuck the Drake and Bob the G-Lock. He run up Betty, hip hop, yeah, I rap, but fuck this hip hop. I'm active, boy, don't get dropped.
One call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. Listen, if you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, I want y'all to call the law firm that will stand up for you and protect you at all times. That's why I love working with Gruber Law Offices, because they let me heal, right? My back was all messed up. They got me set up with physical therapy. I didn't have to worry about anything. So that's what they do. They let you focus on healing while they focus on winning your case. And what I love about them, there's no fee to consult with them, retain them as a law firm, or to call them, and you never pay a single penny until they win your case. So get with one of the largest personal injury law firms in the Midwest that get results that speak for themselves with Gruber Law Offices by calling 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visiting them at gruber-law.com. It's one call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power. We're having a conversation about multiple things. Y'all chimed in on a lot of stuff, but it looks like we're talking about just general being a good human being. That's what it really comes down to. That's what it really comes down to. And 833-212-1017. Marlon, you have a comment about pedophilia in Milwaukee?
Yes. How you doing? So I got to be honest. I didn't listen to the episode on Friday. I was busy. But that's one of the things that people don't know about Milwaukee. You know how many girls are pregnant by men 25, 35, 45 years old here in Milwaukee? It is unbelievable, the amount. And it's like kind of like people act like it's just normal here in Milwaukee.
Well, how do you know this?
When you deal with the...
Can I ask you, Marlon, do you have just to provide some type of facts behind? I'm not questioning it, but I just want to know where you get the information from.
Yeah. My wife works with the youth and actually kids in the foster care system and like kids who were like going into the foster care system, and that was her job. She was dealing with female youth and a lot of the sexual traumas that they had. And I'm also a probation agent, so I see it on that side. So she sees it on one side, I see it on a different side, but it is rampant in Milwaukee, and people don't talk about it. You know what I mean? But it is unbelievable the amount of girls who are pregnant by men 25 to 45 years old.
You know what?
And I've seen even older as well.
Marlon, you know, it is sad, and I know that this isn't just a new problem, because I do recall growing up as a kid, I remember one of my friends that I was cool with, his mom worked in a field where somehow she came in contact with a young woman who was impregnated by like a 30-year-old. She was like 16 and got pregnant by a 30-some-year-old here in Milwaukee. And they ended up being like, they still to this day are close family friends with them. And that was probably 25 years ago. And so, but that is, again, you know, that's pedophilia. That's sexual assault. Like, and so it is, I personally, that's not a field that I know too much about, but I appreciate you sharing your expertise in the sense of actually knowing kind of some of the things that are happening. And I think we need to bring it to the forefront, because we need to be wary of things that we see around us, right? If you see something that don't look right, we need to start saying something. That's a problem, because we have to protect these kids, because when you're young, you're so impressionable. You think you know everything, right? And people will take advantage of that. That's the sad thing, is that there are grown men that will see that and try to take advantage of that, and that leads to some type of trauma that these young girls have to go through at a young age.
Yes, sir. And like you said, is when you try to address it, sometimes the mothers don't want to have nothing to do with it. Sometimes it's the mother's boyfriend. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It's not all the mother's fault. You know what I mean? Not all of them are all the mother, but it's a wide variety of issues. It could be the daughter is being pimped out by the parents. It could be there's the mother's boyfriend who messed around with the daughter. It could be that the daughter ran away and just started dating these guys. You know, it's all different areas and all different reasons why, but it is very, very rampant here in the city of Milwaukee.
Thank you, Marlon. I appreciate you chiming in on this conversation. 833-212-1017. I guess we're having a conversation about the dangers of pedophilia. We already know that it's dangerous to pedophilia, but also just a conversation about we need to speak up and out against this. Again, I don't care who you support, but when it comes to protecting kids, when it comes to protecting people from potentially impressionable individuals from being taken advantage of by adults like Jeffrey Epstein, we got to speak out about that. Like, when you hear about the Epstein files, if you hear Trump maybe on the Epstein files, you should do a little bit more research to make sure that you're not supporting somebody that may have had anything to do with the sex trafficking of young girls. 833-212-1017. Miss Lana Banana, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts here on pedophilia?
How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, when you agree with everything that a person says and does, no matter whether you voted for them or not, it shows that you're a follower and you don't have your own mind. You don't have your own way of thinking. You need to look at both sides and listen instead of, what do you call that?
Following or just mindlessly moving? Not sure.
No, not holding them accountable for what they say.
Rhea just said sycophant. Rhea, I don't know what no damn sycophant is. My vocabulary ain't that big. Go ahead, Ms. Lana.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. Whoopsie. Okay, yeah, but you know, so it just shows that, you know, you need to show that the person that you voted for or whatever, they are human, I guess, and if they do something wrong, admit it. and then see what you can do to change. Because if you keep on making excuses for their wrongdoing, it's going to enable them to continue, and it's just out of control, just chaos.
I 100%
like
agree.
it is now.
I 100% agree. Thank you.
Be like Kyle, everybody.
Oh, well, don't say it. Maybe.
Because you look at both sides. You don't just go for everything a Democrat or whoever say. Me too.
I most definitely don't. And as we have that 2026 governor election coming up, I can't wait to talk about that. Thank you, Ms. Lana Banana, for calling in.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. 833-212-1017. Tyrone. What's crack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lacking? What are your thoughts here on the conversation?
Man, you got it, man. You got it. Crack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lacking birthday boy, man. You know, what's up there? What's up, Atlanta Banana Bonanza, my over the air baby. Rhea Jazzy, Miss Jazzy Rhea. Well, I tell you what, Benjamin, you, man, Benjamin on Thursday, you on Saturday, Friday for well, whatever it was there. Benjamin first, and then you and Prince on Saturday the 7th. Mm-hmm. So you beat your chest. You and Prince got the same birthday, boy. So, hey, I'm going to have to get down there and sit with you, man, because, you know, I don't mind coming up behind my boo Lana Banana there, man, but I've been waiting for – look here, I just want to say, you know, look here. Yeah, it's evil in its sickness but with all that. But I just want to say, look here, I just wanted to, you know, wish you many more birthdays to come, man. You know, you got the same birthday as Prince. Benjamin's the day before him. You know, me, Michael, and Prince were born in the same year, 1950. It pains my heart when people is talking about the things that Michael did and all these different things here. Yeah. You know, Angela Bassett and Madonna's born on the same day, August 20th, 1958.
I'm running tight on time, Tyrone.
Yeah, but we'll talk to you. I'm going to get down there and sit with you, though, man. Many more to come. Many blessings.
Tyrone and everybody else do know that we're going to have our First Beyond the Mic is coming up. First Beyond the Mic is coming up.
All right, thank you.
Come on, you can sit behind. Well, if it's consensual, you can talk to Ms. Lana Banana. Lastly, Josh and Kenosha, you the last one here. Pedophilia is not just the Catholics, but also Christians. Go ahead, Josh, and let them know. You got about 45 seconds here.
Well, first, I hope you had a good birthday.
I appreciate that.
Second, yeah, it's not necessarily the Catholics, and you're right to bash them for it. It's a worldwide problem. The most Christian churches deep in the South, they've got pedophile rings all through this country too. But it's also Muslims. Their fake prophet married a 6-year-old and consummated that marriage at 9. They praise a pedophile as their prophet. So it's not just a Christian thing or a Catholic thing. It's a worldwide thing, and it stems from religion. So
yeah,
we can't criticize one without lumping them all together because they're all guilty and they're all evil for it.
You know, Josh, you have no pushback from me here because I know what you're saying is true. I appreciate you calling in, Josh, as always. Josh and Tyrone, the last two. They wish me happy birthday because I didn't really talk about it on this show last week. My birthday was on Saturday, but on the other show they talked about it. I didn't ask for it because it's just another day for me. But shout out to those who listen to both shows. I appreciate that. 2 to 5, Kyle Brust and Norman, ESPN Wisconsin. But on the other side, we're going to wrap up the conversation. I'm going to read some of the text messages that we have here because Daniel in the Talking Text said he wants to talk a little bit about the naked bike race that I mentioned before. So we'll wrap it up with my final thoughts on that, but keep it locked as always. I appreciate y'all, Truth Nation. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube as well. But thank y'all so much. We'll wrap up the conversation on the other side. It is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. Truth Nation, please join us for the 54th annual Juneteenth celebration in Milwaukee on Thursday, June 19th. The Truth will be broadcasting live from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., so don't miss out on your chance to celebrate with us with our live Juneteenth broadcast presented by Hope Christian Schools and Carroll University. 101.7 The Truth's celebration of Juneteenth is also brought to you by American Family Insurance, Associated Bank, Gruber Law Offices, Molson Coors, and Educators Credit Union.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice for my friends at Steinhoffels. And nothing beats a great night's sleep on a beauty rest from Steinhoffels. Right now, you'll get a free foundation when you buy a Beauty Rest Black or world-class mattress. Queen mattresses start at just $30 per month when you use Steinhoffels' 60-month financing. And with Steinhoffels' 110% price guarantee, 120-night sleep guarantee, and free delivery, you can't make a mistake. Don't overpay for a good night's sleep. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
One, two, three, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am the host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. And again, I want to thank y'all, Truth Nation, for always showing up and showing out with the calls, with the texts on YouTube, having great conversations as well, a great dialogue. And this is what it is all about. But 833-212-1017, Daniel asked me, he said, Brother Wallace, I know this is off topic, but I have a question. You brought up the naked bike race ride that's happening June 28th. Are the police going to give out indecent exposure citations? Wisconsin Legislator Statute 944.21b. What's going on with that? Or do they say, or wow, I should have read this word. Will they be getting tickets? And I'm gonna say this right now. They said I'm not hating, I'm just asking. I don't know, but I know Sherwin has somebody on for the naked bike race. Y'all should go back and listen to that interview because maybe there was some insight on why they can do it. When I first heard about the naked bike race, I was appalled by the fact that people can ride around on bicycles with their stuff out. I just feel very uncomfortable with that, and I think it's indecent exposure. And when I talk about liberals, because most of them are probably liberals, when I talk about liberals, that's what I'm talking about. That nonsense. That damn nonsense. You don't need to be riding around the city with your genitals out for people to see. I don't want to see that. I don't want kids to see that. So I'm 100% against that. But some of y'all had Trump rolled around with his stuff out. Y'all be like, oh, Donald Trump, come here, give me some. Yes, yes, yes. Some of y'all grown-ass men who call in here. But this has been Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am Kyle Wallace. Up next is the Tory Lowe Show from 1 to 4. We're going to talk about some more great conversations tomorrow, but keep it locked all day to your favorite radio station. Peace out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Start jamming in the morning and get your daily drop of juice.
Juice gets you hydrated and started for your day. And that's what